glad you're here. So today I want to take a look at a passage from the book of Numbers. It's going to be in Numbers 20, starting at verse 14. And this is going to be about Israel wanting to pass through the country of Edom, but things don't exactly go according to plan. So let's just take a look at that, shall we? So starting at verse 14, it says, Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom, saying, "This is what your brother Israel says. You know about all the hardships that have come on us. Our ancestors went down into Egypt, and we lived there many years. The Egyptians mistreated us and our ancestors. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard our cry and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. Now we are here at Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your country. We will not go through any field or vineyard or drink water from any well. We will travel along the king's highway and not turn to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory." But Edom answered, "You may not pass through here. If you try, we will march out and attack you with the sword." The Israelites replied, "We will go along the main road, and if we or our livestock drink any of the water, we will pay for it. We only want to pass through on foot, nothing else." Again they answered, "You may not pass through." Then Edom came out against them with a large and powerful army. Since Edom refused to let them go through their territory, Israel turned away from them. Now, I'm sure many of you are probably wondering why I picked that passage of all things. For extra context, I'm sure we all remember the story of Jacob and Esau from the book of Genesis. So the country of Edom is actually the descendants of Esau, and of course the Israelites come from Jacob. So this sort of reignites a bitterness that happened centuries before between the two brothers. We know Jacob and Esau eventually made up between each other, but as we can see here, there's still a little bit of resentment left over. But I suppose this doesn't answer the bigger question of why I picked the passage, and it actually applies to something in the New Testament about letting Jesus into your life. In a way, we sort of are the country of Edom in this case, and Israel, it represents Jesus. Jesus always, knocks at our door, wants to be let in, come into our life, make it better, and then we can, in a way, serve him as well. But in a way, we are too stubborn or too resentful in this case to want to come to him with our problems or just surrender. And I think some good verses to help back that up. We can first see that in the book of Revelation in chapter 3, verse 20, where it says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and dine with him, and he with me." That was sort of the thing with Israel. They simply wanted to come on in, but Edom, or us in this case, we unfortunately do not allow that to happen. Jesus also made it very clear, where he said in John 14:6, that "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." In this case, I suppose you can also look at Edom as sort of representing the world, and Jesus representing the spiritual. So you can look at it through that interpretation. And that's what I kind of like about the Bible, how you can interpret even a small chunk of it so many different ways. Again, we look in John 14:17 this time, where it says, "The Spirit of truth, the world cannot receive him, because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you do know him, for he abides with you and will be in you." So, yes, Edom can represent us. It can represent the world, and how us or the world can often refuse Jesus into our lives, who is always there to make it better. He has bigger plans and desires for us. And by serving him, it's really one of the best things we could possibly do while we are here on this planet, of course, before we go into heaven, and then, of course, reign with him on the new earth. So I'm sure many of us don't really interpret This section of the book of Numbers that way. It's just simply an older resentment that tracks back from centuries prior, where Esau's descendants refused to let Jacob's descendants, the Israelites, even walk through their country. I mean, even Israel made it very clear, right? They're not going to touch any of the livestock. They're not going to go through their fields, their vineyards, drink their water. They're just simply going to pass on through, and that's it. And yet, Edom was like, nope, sorry, we're not going to do that now. But I read that passage the other day, and it sort of reminds me of how we just sometimes, unfortunately, we don't let Jesus into our hearts, our lives. We just don't want him to be in any part of it. It's really just a sad state of most of us, how we choose to live our own lives without him, or just simply how the world is, how the world just rejects him just like that. So that's sort of what I'm reminded of reading that passage. So I know many of you probably don't interpret the story of Edom and Israel that way, but it's just something that sort of occurred to me. You don't have to agree with my interpretation at all. That's just something that sort of stuck out to me as I was reading it. Overall, that's all I have for today, so I appreciate you taking the time to watching this little video and taking a part in this lesson. So let me know in the comments what you thought down below, and if you have maybe another interpretation of the same passage, or maybe you agree or disagree with me. I'm open to hearing what you have to say, but that's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning into this video. See you later. God bless you all.